All right, and welcome to another Wellness Wednesday here on Health and Horsepower. This Wednesday, what I want to do is I want to share some more back to school tips. So I know it's back to school season. I know there have been a lot of questions I've had from parents on things that they can do to help protect their children's health. So beginning of the month, we talked about how to make sure you're picking the right backpack and making sure it's adjusted so your child doesn't have either back pain or possibly some slouching issues or contributions to muscle imbalance that can make scoliosis and spinal curvatures worse. Last week we talked a little bit more about posture, how to improve your posture with some exercises and also some tips on things you can do throughout the day to make sure you have good posture. This week we are talking about those busy mornings. A lot of times when it comes to mornings, we may have kiddos that do not like to eat in the mornings. I know both of mine typically when they get up, they're not really hungry, they're not really wanting food, they just want to kind of zombie themselves out the door and get to school. But a lot of times when it comes to setting them up for success, we want to make sure that not only ourselves but also our kids have the best breakfast possible. So when they wake up, we really need to make sure that to kind of minimize stress on the adrenal gland and also help to kind of get their blood sugar started and their brains functioning for the day, we do want to make sure we're eating within half an hour of waking up. That doesn't mean that you're going to be having coffee first, because when you have coffee first thing in the morning and that hits your stomach, that will actually cause your adrenal gland to go into overdrive. So a lot of times if you're starting your morning with coffee before breakfast, that's a problem. So I definitely recommend making sure you eat first thing in the morning. Ideally, we want to make sure we're getting a protein-rich breakfast, because if we're eating carbohydrates, not that carbs are bad, but typically starting your day with carbohydrates and things that turn into sugar quickly without protein can set you up for failure. So you want to make sure that you are getting breakfast within 30 minutes of waking up. You want to make sure you have a protein-rich breakfast, and then we also want to make sure that we are also getting some quick sugar. So when you have protein, those do take a bit of time to break down. So what I usually recommend is mixing a protein and a fruit first thing in the morning to kind of get your day started. So, sorry, we've got people mowing across the street from us, if you hear any background noise. But when it comes to breakfast, a lot of people are like, oh, 2 eggs should be fine. But in reality, 2 eggs is about 15 grams of protein. We want to ideally aim for about 20 to 30 grams. So I would recommend doing those eggs with either another type of protein or making sure you're having maybe 3 eggs rather than just 2 to get your day started. So eggs are a great way to start your morning. You can also do other proteins, so any of your nitrate-free turkey, bacon, anything like that, ideally nitrate-free. You could also do peanut butter. You could also do oatmeal. You could even have some flaxseed or hemp seed that you add in the morning to give you some omega-3 and some fiber. We're gonna go through 3 different recipe ideas that you can do in the mornings. One is super quick. Cameron's been absolutely awesome about this, but making protein shakes. So you can actually make a protein shake. You can do it one of 2 ways. So you can either take that protein and basically mix it together so it is ready to blend first thing in the morning and have it ready to go. I typically find that's the easiest. They have those little bullet type of blenders where they're like literally a cup that comes with like a top on it that has a metal like a blender blade on it. Those are great. You can actually have them ready to go in the fridge. All you've got to do is throw that blender top on, throw it in the blender for like 30 seconds to a minute depending on how much you've got in there, and you're ready to go with the straw. Not really something that's chewing intensive for kiddos and especially teenagers, but you can definitely do a lot more protein with that. Another idea that's really great is overnight oats. So basically you would use some type of yogurt. Typically I recommend Greek and ideally unflavored, but you can get a flavor base if your kids tend to be picky, and you can flavor it yourself with everything from fruit, honey, jams, jellies. You can also add some oatmeal in there. You can add a bunch of different things in there if you really wanted to. I know we've done at our house with those yogurt smoothies or the overnight oats, we've done yogurt with chia seeds, we've done oatmeal in there, we've done even peanut butter, cocoa powder, you name it. We've done a lot of different things. So we're gonna show you a couple different things and easy ways to make that so it's ready to go in the morning. And then the last one, which does require a little head prep, is going to be your egg muffins. So basically what you're doing is you're taking a muffin tin and you are preparing multiple muffins for, like, say the next week, or you can freeze them for up to 4 months and just thaw them out the night before in the fridge, and then they're ready to pop in the microwave or throw in the oven for a little bit in the mornings. Those are great kind of grab and go breakfast, either for during the week or even on the weekends if you've got somewhere to be. So we'll be showing you 3 different recipes. So like I said, we're gonna do the egg muffins, we're gonna do the overnight oatmeal, and we're also gonna do some protein smoothies. Super easy to make, ready to go in the morning, so there's not a lot of prep required. So I will jump in with the girls on some of those videos so we can get those prepped and started for you. All right, so we are gonna start with our egg muffins. What I've done is I've got a little bowl. I actually put 6 eggs inside of here and cracked those already, so those are ready to go. I like to add spices in them before I bake them. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon for all 6 eggs. And then I'm also going to do some pepper, which I always sneeze, so bear with me here. I stand back way far away. And then I'm also gonna do some dill, which brings out the flavor of eggs. So after you take your eggs and crack them, throw some spices in there if you want to. And then you're gonna go ahead and blend these up. You can also use a fork. I personally think forks work a little bit better at breaking the yolks and getting it all blended. But we wanna blend that up like a nice scrambled egg. So you wanna make sure as much as possible you're getting those nice and fluffy. We wanna kind of whip them up a little bit more. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a muffin pan. So I've got a muffin pan here, I already greased it. Now you can do a couple different things. So you can do just plain eggs inside of these muffin tins. We actually found at Aldi's these really cute little ham slices. So they're about the perfect size. These are biscuit size. You can also get larger ones, and you can actually put them on the back side of the muffin tin to kind of form it into a cup. I'm, for this video, just gonna press those in the bottom because these biscuit size are about perfect. So these are gonna be on the bottom of our muffin. So they're gonna kind of serve as a liner. And I'm gonna go ahead and just make 6 of these. So this should be good for the girls for this week for breakfast. So we're gonna put 6 of those little ham slices in there. If you really wanted to, you could also take the rim off. I know my girls usually peel that off, but we wanna make sure that those stay in the bottom as best as possible. So you might need to press them down a little bit to form them to the cup. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our cheese next because the cheese typically does not like to stay on top and kind of makes a mess. So I usually put that underneath the eggs. So we've got kind of a cheesy pocket in the center. So I've got some shredded cheese on top of that ham. And it's okay if they're not perfect. The eggs are gonna expand a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add the egg on top. Now I mentioned already that typically 2 eggs is going to be about 15 grams of protein, and we want to aim for about 20. So with the cheese and the ham, this is going to get us at 20 to 25. Try not to splash that everywhere. So I did 6 eggs for 6 muffins, and like I said, you've also got the cheese. Oh, that one went over a little bit, so we're gonna scoop him over here. Okay, all of our eggs are separated. We're gonna throw this in the oven at 375 for about 12 to 15 minutes, depending on how done you like your eggs. And then in the mornings, if they've been in the freezer, so if you freeze them for about 4 months, you can just pop them in the fridge overnight. Or what you can do is just keep them in the fridge for the week. I like making the weeks and just have them in the fridge ready to go. So we're gonna pop these in the oven, 375 for about 15 minutes. And then all we have to do is in the morning heat those up. So we can throw them in the microwave, you can put them in a toaster oven, you can put them in your oven on broil for like 5 minutes or so to get them nice and warmed up so they're ready to go. So we will pop in with those later when those are done. All right, so we are here with some overnight oatmeal. So I have 2 different flavor oatmeal. So I have a honey vanilla Greek. So this one I did get from Aldi's. Now, typically when you're getting the flavored stuff, it's already got some sugar added to it. So you don't want to do too much extra honey and flavorings. So this one here actually has 23 grams of sugar with 2/3 of a cup. So again, kind of high on the sugar. So typically when I'm using flavored yogurt, I don't really like to add honey or anything too sweet in there. So what we're gonna do is I've got this honey vanilla. I've also got the lemon, which this is absolutely amazing. I am a huge fan of the lemon. again, because it's got the flavorings to it, it is going to be a little bit sweeter. This one also has 23 grams of sugar. If you go to the store, look at your unflavored yogurts, a lot of times you're going to find that, again, they're not going to have this much because they're unflavored. So typically I just get plain yogurt and add all the toppings. So I have 3 glass jars here. I go to Crystal Orchard. I know you guys know I'm obsessed with Crystal Orchard, but I always save their containers from everything from pumpkin butter to barbecue sauce. These are nice little mason jars, so they can be used over and over again. You can also buy new lids for them. Really lots of purposes. I also make Jell-O and all sorts of stuff in these, and I even save like drippings from dinners and things to make gravies. So for these, I'm just gonna make 3 of those for this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a big gloop. I'm not really gonna measure that, I'm just gonna call it a gloop. So I'm gonna fill that up probably about 1/3 of the way with yogurt. So this is the Greek yogurt, so it does have a bit more protein. I think that's probably gonna be just 1 with this one. There wasn't much left, this was everybody's favorite. We also froze it into popsicles at our house, and those were a nice little treat too. So we love Greek yogurt at our house. That one's probably got a little bit more. And then I'm gonna fill this one up here with some more yogurt too. So like I said, about 1/3 of the way. You can go more than that if you really wanted to. It just really depends on who you're serving it for. So obviously Tori's pretty small. She's not gonna eat a whole one of these, so smaller serving size is gonna be better for her. So now that we've got our yogurt in there, I'm gonna tap it down. So you can see the one has a little bit more. This one's probably more close to the 2/3 of a cup, and this one's probably about the same. So we have 2 that are probably about 2/3 of a cup, and then 1 that's probably filled 1/3 of the way. So when we look at the actual protein content, so this is for 2/3 of a cup is 7 grams of protein, and that's gonna be the same with this one. So Greek yogurt, not a super high protein food, but we're gonna add some things that can beef that up a little bit. So I have a bag of chia seeds. These are food grade chia seeds. These are actually great. They have not only good fiber content, they have a lot of other benefits, including some protein sources. So typically when it comes to chia seeds, you do not want to do over 1 tablespoon a day. That can cause some digestive upset. So I'm gonna use 1/2 tablespoon in each of these. So when you soak chia seeds, they actually expand, and they like really expand big. They kind of remind me a little bit of like a tapioca seed with the texture. So we're gonna put just 1/2 tablespoon in each of those, and we want that to soak on top of the yogurt, so it kind of takes some of the moisture from the yogurt as that separates out. And then I'm also going to add some oatmeal in here. You can use any type of oatmeal, so you can use either steel cut, or you can do quick oats, or even like just a regular oatmeal. And I'm going to add a 1/4 cup on top of that. Now I usually recommend, after you've put the chia and the oatmeal, to actually mix these up with a either a knife or a spoon, just so that you know those oats are soaking really well inside of the yogurt. So I'm going to go ahead, mix those up there and kind of tap them down. That way we've got our base. Now the next thing you can do is you can add frozen fruit or even fresh berries on top of this. You could even add some flaxseed in here or some hemp seed to give you a little bit more fiber and also some omega-3 content. Honestly, this is kind of a good base. There's not really a lot of extra flavors or textures. The girls seem to like this a lot. If I was using unflavored yogurt, I would probably put a drizzle of honey on that, but since we're using flavored, I'm not going to add that in. Another thing you can add is also jam, jellies, things like that, or like I said, you can even use berries and fruit. So I'm going to go ahead with these. I'm going to put some frozen fruit, so I'm going to grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I cleaned up so you can actually see what I'm doing. I have a cherry berry blend of frozen fruit from Aldi's. You can get any type of fruit. They have tropical mixes. They have some that are just strawberries. They even have, I've seen avocado chunks. I've seen banana. You can do whatever you like. What I like about this is you've got a lot of different varieties. So inside of here we have, ooh, they're falling everywhere. So we actually have strawberries. So I'm going to put a strawberry in each of these. And then you also have cherries. We have cranberries and blueberries. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in each as well. Got to find all of those. I think I've got one of everything. Okay, so I've got 2 blueberries, 2 cranberries, and a strawberry. And then I'm gonna add cherries in each of those as well. So we have kind of a mix of fruit. Now, what you can do is basically throw these in the fridge overnight, and then in the morning, the frozen fruit would have thawed, given a little bit of moisture, and then the chia seeds and the oatmeal are gonna soak that up. So it's gonna be kind of like a thicker version of a yogurt with like your add-ins added in. You could also throw some granola on top in the morning if your kiddos like or yourself likes that crunch to it. So that's all it. All we're gonna do is put some tops on these, and then I'm gonna throw these in the fridge so they're ready to go for tomorrow. So that's our second dish. We still have to put our egg muffins in the oven and cook those, but I've got these guys overnight oats ready to go, so these will be ready for tomorrow morning. And then I'll pop back in with the girls with our smoothies that we'll make in the morning. All right, we're gonna make some protein smoothies for morning breakfast. So I mentioned already we have our little like bullet style blender. So it comes with these little cups here that have a lid to go around the edge, and then you can actually turn these lids off and replace it with a blender style top. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a couple of these, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them in the fridge so they're ready to go for tomorrow morning if anybody wants to make a smoothie. So first thing we're gonna do is we are going to put some of our yogurt in here. So, yep, here, I'll hold it over and you can scoop it in there. If you want, we can blend these. You can eat one now. Probably one more big spoon. That should be good. All right, let's do a little bit more in this one. Okay. Probably, yeah. Can you get all of it in there? All right. Is that enough? Let me see if there's any more. Yeah, there's a little bit more. Let me see. I'll get this off. You want to lick the spoon? That's fine. All right, so we're gonna do, looks like we've got, okay, hold on. Let me get that off. Okay, so we got our yogurt in there. Tori's gonna lick the spoon. Let's set that to the side. We're gonna drizzle a little bit of honey on top. Probably about a teaspoon worth. And then to make these a protein smoothie, because we have our Greek yogurt in here, which we had lemon flavored, we have a couple different proteins to choose from. So we have, this is absolutely by far my favorite. Jarro makes one that is unflavored. So this literally has only 1 gram of sugar in it. It is literally just a whey protein with a soy lecithin from sunflowers. That's it. There's nothing really else to this. Now, in 1 scoop, we have 18 grams of protein. So with our 7 grams in our yogurt, that is literally right spot on. So this is my absolute favorite. This other one here I have, this is actually one I got from Sunrise Foods. It's called Sun Warrior Protein Warrior Blend. So this is actually another unsweetened, unflavored one. This one has 28 grams of protein. And this is coming from pea protein, hemp seed, as well as goji berry. And then it also has some medium chain triglyceride oil and acacia gum. So this one has 19 grams of protein in 1 scoop, and it has 0 grams of sugar. That one's definitely, you can taste the hemp and the pea protein, so just a little bit thicker, kind of got like a more oily texture to that one. And then we also have the clean protein. This is actually part of the Ultimate Body Cleanse, but we can also order this separately from Aceva, which is the company that we normally have most of our supplements from. This is actually a blend of pea protein as well as rice protein. It also has some chicory, some oat fiber. It has some guar gum, acacia gum, coconut oil powder, as well as some natural flavors. It does have salt, it has monk fruit, and it also has a little bit of stevia. So I typically don't do well with stevia, so that's not one I can use. But this one's great because it is allergy friendly. Like I said, this one's got kind of a different flavor to it. This one I do recommend soaking overnight with whatever liquid you're going to use in it, just because it is going to bulk up a little bit, so it's a little bit less gritty when you soak it. This one, like I said, has a little bit of an aftertaste, but this is by far my favorite. So this is what we're going to use today. So we are going to take, and we are going to do 1 scoop, which is 18 grams. Okay, we put one of those in there. Perfect.
So that's a lot of protein.
There's a lot of protein in there. This is a great breakfast or a snack for after school, right? And you just got done for after school, so this will be great for you. So we have our lemon flavored yogurt. We have a little bit of honey. We have our protein powder. And then what we're gonna do, yeah, you can look at it if you want. It probably doesn't really have much flavor to it. It's just gritty. And then we're gonna take a handful of fruit and put it in each cup. So you wanna take a handful? Maybe 2 handfuls because your hands are little. So this is our berry blend. It's got strawberries, cherries, blueberries, all sorts of good stuff. Okay, put some in that one. And then normally what you want to do is you want to fill this up with a liquid so that it is nice and easy to drink through a straw. That should be about good. So, oh, you're going to want to wash your hands in just a minute. So if you want to go wash your hands and then come back. So with these, you can use a couple different things. So if you are okay with dairy, you can use a cow's milk in here. If you tend to have a cow's milk allergy and you're okay with goat's milk, you can use that as well. You can also use oat milk, you can use coconut milk, you can use soy milk, almond, whatever works for you. Another thing that I found is if you can also add in orange juice or any type of juice. So typically, usually when I do berry flavored stuff, I like to use orange juice just because it gives it a little bit more of a citrus boost. And a little bit more of that fruit sugars that I like to start with in the mornings. We are going to put just plain milk in here because that's what we have. We're out of orange juice because somebody drank it all.
Cameron.
And me. We both like orange juice. So I'm going to grab the milk and then we're going to add that up and we'll blend one so you can check it out. All right, so we're going to add our milk so it covers. Don't tip that. Don't tip that. Don't tip that, please. There's a max line, so we don't want to go over the max line or it'll be mad at us. I'm going to put a little more in there because that's going to bubble down. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our blender top.
Why is there a max line?
So that there's space for it to blend. Okay. And then all we have to do is when we put our blender in, there's these little tabs on the side and those go right in here and then you push it down and slide it and it blends it up for you. So we'll go ahead and we'll come back as soon as we're done blending those. What do you think, Miss Tori?
It's good.
Good, huh? All right, so perfect breakfast. We will see you next week at our next video.